we'll pretend we didn't just go over everything and tear you up on all your homework. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to look at the exercise, and we're going to actually complete everything in the exercise. First off, we're going to create, I read this, the blocks will be created and in a file by themselves. Okay, that means they're going to be an individual file block. All right, a drawing 8.5 by 11-inch border outline for the sheet for each discipline should be created for each block to be inserted in. Each person shall email me 3 block files and 3 drawing files that have the block inserted in them. A title block is not needed, but your name, 1/4-inch text height, and 1/8-inch text height should be placed within the 8.5 by 11-inch area of the drawing covers. This is not a group assignment. I expect you to know what you did, how you did it, and the very specifics of it. Do not use any existing blocks to pull from, or your library or someone else's. This assignment is from scratch. Text heights are the heights as printed on the paper output. That should tell you right there that I am looking for you to actually take care of scale. Okay, now our first assignment is electrical block. It's an overhead light symbol for 3/8-inch diameter. So we know what it is. It's an electrical block specific to electrical discipline. It is actually an overhead light symbol that gives us a key what it's going to be. We know it's going to be inserted on a particular layer, so we know we have to have that. Text inside the block should be 1/8 inch, able to be modified. So that means it's going to be an attribute. Will be used on 3/8-inch drawing. That means we're going to insert it on a sheet of paper that is scaled up to meet that scale factor, which is 32. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to work on this. First, I'm going to do is I'm going to create all my blocks. I'm going to look at this. Step 1 and A, step 1 and A, step 1 and A. I'm going to do all of these and set them up correctly. All right. 1A and C, kind of go from there. All right. So I'm going to minimize this. All right. So I'm going to draw a circle from 0, 0, 0, boom. And it's a diameter of 3.75 or 0.375. I'm going to say D for diameter, 0.375, boom, done. All right. Zoom. All right, so here's my circle. Now I need an attribute. Attribute definition. I know my tag is going to be, it's a light symbol. So I'm going to say light type, a light type, and default is going to be A. All right, text settings. I know I want this to be middle. I'm going to pick it to middle. And I want my height to be 0.125. It discussed that in the sheet settings. So we're good there. I'm going to go ahead and stick with standard for right now, but I would always highly recommend creating your own style. But for this particular exercise, we're just going with the basics here. All right. Annotated 0.25. Invisible, no. Constant, no. Verify, no. Preset, no. Lock position, yes. I want it to stay in the center of my circle. Pick OK. I'm going to specify that point. Now I'm going to pick center of here. Boom. So I know this is right in the center because I drew that from 0, 0, 0. So I can actually go ahead and create my block. I can type in block, and I can call this, I can call it E-light OH, okay, for light overhead. All right, now I'm going to pick a point. I'm just going to pick center of the circle. I'm not going to just randomly pick a point. I'm going to use my O snaps to make sure I get the exact center of that circle. Select objects. I'm going to select these objects. Boom, I'm done. My layer I created these on was 0 already by default, and I can go ahead and have it converted to a block and pick OK. So now it's converted to a block. I am done with that. And when you do that, if it has attributes, it's going to say, hey, go ahead and give this a value like it's inserting. I'm going to pick OK. I'm good. I'm going to move this now over here. I'll just move it over 1 inch just for grants. Now, I can cheat, and I can copy this back over here. I can go to 0, however far. Let me copy this from here, from center of here to 0, 0, 0. I can go ahead and cheat on this because I've created this block, and I know the next block is a piping block. It's the same size. It is supposed to be 0.375 as well. All right. This says it here, 3 point diameter. It's going to have a different text size, so I'm going to actually modify that when I get there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and explode this, and I'm going to start from here again. Now this, I'm going to go ahead and change this. I'll double click on that, and I know this is a mat bub, so I'll say mat ID. There's a material ID, and we're going to say 0001. Doesn't really matter what it is. Could have been the same 9089 or whatever we had in there before. Excuse me. All right, so now I've created that, but I also need to make a little small tweak here. I need to change the height of this from 0.125 to 0.09375. Boom, now I'm done. And now I can create a block out of this. Block. And I'm going to call this mat bub for bubble, material bubble. All right, I'm going to specify my insertion point is 0, 0, 0. I'm good there. So I'm just going to select my objects. Boom. And then I'm done. I can pick OK, convert it to a block, and I'm happy. So now I have that. I can move this off to the side if I want to, or I can just leave it right there. Because my next drawing is going to be something bigger. So I need to go to my, look at my block here. I need to draw a W6 by 25 plan view. This I know is going to be a drawing. These two are symbols. Okay. This is a drawing because it's an actual true size steel beam. All right. So I'm going to go look that up. I'm going to pop into the internet and I'm going to go to and it's do a Google search and I bring up wide flanges and I type in W6 by 25 and get the dimensions for that. I can see that they are right here. All right. We know it's, if you look at this, 6.38, 6.08, H is the height. Okay. And then W is the width. Those are the two critical dimensions we're looking for right here. 6.38 height, width. Okay, so I can switch over to my drawing. I can draw a P line from here. I can go ahead and just draw the outline of it. Okay, so I can say 6.08 and 6.38, I believe. 6.38 up, 6.38 up, 6.08, 0.08, not 09, 08, and then close. All right, so I've driven a box. Now I need to actually find out what that width is between the gaps of them. All right, so I'm going to look up here and I'm going to look and see what this is right here. It says S. All right, that is the flange thickness. Okay, so we're going to look at that 6.025 flange thickness. Oh, got to see which one that actually is. Web thickness. Okay, that works there. Okay, right here, web. Okay, that's the web, which is this inside here. All right, so I'm going to go down and get that. That maybe 6 by 25 is 0.32. So now I have that, so I can actually kind of cheat here and I can just offset this, offset 0.32. I can pop this down like so. Now I can actually just draw a line from here to here, here to here, and down here to here. Okay, and I can just make that kind of fit it all in there. So I can draw a line from E and D point of here to perpendicular to here. Boom. Line from B and D point of here to perpendicular to here. And I can do the same thing here. I can use the mirror command or the copy command or just individual line command. I'm just going to copy from E and D point of here to E and D point of here. Now I can trim this, and this, and I can actually just trim this stuff on the outside. Okay, because I don't need this stuff. Oh, wait. Did I offset in or did I offset out? I need to see how I did that. Either way, I'll fix it. I went in. So that means this line needs to be over here. I need to actually do this a little bit differently. So what I can do is I can actually erase these. And I can actually just explode these P lines. Okay, now they're here. Now I can actually break this and this, this, and this. And now I can actually just use the fillet command. Oops. I'm sorry. I am just coughing away. Okay, now I'm going to fill it to here. Fill it from here to here. Why is it not? Did I not explode those? The line. That's a line. Fill it from here to here. Okay, that's just weird. I'm going to go from here to here. I don't know why that's not working. That's just weird. Fill it, trim. No. Fill it, trim. Maybe that option's off. Trim. That's probably why. Okay. From here to here. There we go. Here to here. And from here to here. And from here to there. Okay. Now I can erase these. I can draw a line from mid of here to perpendicular to here. Offset. Now I do 0.32 or 0.16 is what I want to do. I want to do half of 0.32, 0.16. Goodness, inhaled something. And I'm going to go ahead and say change all these to the same layer. Boom. And I'm going to trim this out. I'm going to click here and here. I'm going to trim this, up to this, and this. Now, I'm not looking for fancy fillets and everything else on this. This is just a wide flange block for me. Now, the insertion point of this particular block can be in multiple places. You can place a piece of steel at this corner, this midpoint, the center of the block, at this midpoint, or on one of the edges of the steel. I'm going to use the center of it because for me, I typically will take a dimension from the center of the beam. So I'm going to W block. I'm going to block this, not W block it. And I'm just going to call this W6 by 25 column. Okay. And I'm going to pick a point and I'm going to say M2P using my M2P O snap, END point of here to END point of here. I'll select my objects, all of this. It would have been better to convert that all to a P line, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're just going for kind of just an effort here. Okay. All right, so we created that, made it a block. It went ahead and put it on the embed text layer. I'm not worried about that right now because I'm actually just working on this layer because it made it go to the current layer. All right, so I've got my 3 blocks now. All right, so what I can do is I can go ahead and create my block files. To do that, I'll type in W block. All right, the W block command is bringing up write block. This means it writes it out as its own individual file. Okay, so I'm going to pick the block I want to write out. I'm going to write Elite OH. And I'm going to go ahead and just put that in a particular folder. And we'll just stick with that for right now. That's fine. Pick OK. That one's done. And now we're going to do the next one. I'll click block. And I'm going to do matbub right there. I'm going to pick OK, same file location. I'm going to do the same thing. Click block. And then I'm going to go to W6 by 25 column. All right. They all went to the same folder. So if I bring up Windows Explorer and bring that over, grab that. Now, if we go to that folder, the OneDrive documents, I believe this is where I put it. Could have been, no, it's actually down here. Drive personal documents. Now, those 3 blocks are right here. You would have emailed me these 3 files. Okay, now if I want these actually go into a folder that I actually use for a block library or something like that, I'm going to go ahead and Control C, copy those, and let's create a blocks folder on our C drive. So I'm going to right click over here. I'm going to say new folder. I'm going to say blocks. You don't have to do this step for the assignment. I'm just kind of showing you how to do this. I know that's a question you had for it, Cody. And I'm going to go ahead and paste these in here, Control V. So these are now here. Okay, so I can use this. I can keep this up and I can go ahead and create my other drawings. Okay, so let's go ahead and start another drawing. Pick OK here. I'm going to draw my outline. Okay, I'm going to draw a P line from 0, 0, 0. Boom. And I'm going 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to go over 8.5. And then I'm going to go up 11. I'm going to go to the right or to the left, 8.5. And then I'm going to close that. Now, there's my outline for my drawing. I don't have to have a border or anything like that for it. I just wanted you to have your drawings in there. So, but just to create a border, we'll go 1/2 inch, 0.5. So we have a little bit of a margin. I'm going to go here. Boom. That's it. Now I'm going to draw my text. And I'm going to place my text up here. Left alignment's just fine. I'm going to pick here. And my height for this is going to be 0.25. All right, and then my angle is going to be 0, and I'm going to say Clint Moore. There's my text height. Okay, there, yes, 0.25, and I'm good to go. Now I need to do another piece of text, but this one's supposed to be 0.125, I believe. So let's consult our assignment sheet. Boom. 1/8 inch text for the text. Yeah, 0.125. So we're good. All right, so I'm going to hit enter. Now what does this is it actually go ahead. It creates a spot that's directly under the spot of text that you last did. I'm going to hit enter right there. Now the problem is it's going ahead and assuming I wanted to use the same height since I'd hit enter on this. So I'm going to go ahead and type it in and I'll put today's date, which is going to be 07/26/2023. Boom. But what I can do is I can click here and I can actually set this to 0.125. Right there. Now I'm good. Now it's not as cool as where it was, so I need to move that up a little bit. I can eyeball this at this point because I didn't specify that in the thing, but I'm going to go up 0.0625 and see if that's actually good enough. That's pretty good. I could have probably went at 0.125, but I'll leave it where it is. All right, so there's my date. Now, this drawing, the first drawing we're doing, is going to be for a 3/8 inch drawing. So I know I need to scale all this up. Scale. all this from 0,00 32 times. Boom. Now, if I was going to create this manually without using the scale command, I would have to actually get all my links and values and everything else then. Okay. I'm going to do it this way for this drawing. And then I'm going to show you how to do it the other way for the other drawing. And then we'll probably use the same method for the last drawing. Okay, so we kind of cheated here. We created this sheet size and the text, the heights we wanted, and then we applied a scale factor to that entire effort to get them in here. Now, I want to grab my block and insert my block. Now, I can do this a couple ways. I can go back over here and copy and paste from here, my electrical block, or I can actually use the folder that I created for my blocks here. So I'm going to click back over here on our drawing that we want to insert this in. I'm going to switch over to my blocks folder, and I'm going to grab that light. I'm going to grab it, and I'm just going to let go of it in my drawing. Now it's asking me for an insertion point. Okay, I'm going to pick an insertion point. It doesn't really matter. I'm not beating you up on this for the assignment. I'm going to pick on here. Now it's asking me for a scale factor. We know scale factor of this is 3/8 inch equals foot, so that's going to be 32.0. 32.0 is my scale, and I'm going to hit enter to use the same scale for my Y. All right, and then it's asking me for a rotation angle. 0 is good, and now it's asking me for the light type attribute prompt, and I'm done. This drawing is complete. I can save as, and we'll bring that over here, and we'll go somewhere and save it cute. Let's see. Let's go to our just my folder here. We'll go here. We'll call this electrical. We'll call it Clint dash elect. That's fine. Doesn't have to be anything special. Boom. And that one's done. Now we're going to create a new file. Okay. Boom. Now I can go ahead and draw a P line. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do this one the hard way. I'm going to kind of figure out what my distances are. Okay. So I know this one is going to be a different scale factor. This one is going to be a 1/2 inch equals a foot. Okay. I know that happens to be 24, but the easy way to get there is to go ahead and take you can use AutoList to do this. You don't have to use AutoList. You can use a calculator if you want to. I'll show you both ways. Okay. You can divide, okay, 12.0, which is a foot, by 0.5, which is 1/2 inch. That gives you a scale factor of 24. You can see that down here in the corner. Okay, it's 24. All right, so we know we need to use a scale factor of 24. Now, let's go ahead and bring up a calculator. And I'm going to pop that up here. So we know our scale factor is 24. We want 8.5 inches, 8.5 times 24. That means the width of my paper is 204 inches. Okay, so I'm going to draw a P line from 0,0,0. What did I say, 204? F8, 204, right? Okay, 204 inches. I'm dragging to the right. That's the width of my paper. Boom. Now I need to know how tall I need to go up. Now, if you zoom out, notice it's not really showing me what I need to see because I'm not zoomed out far enough. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and Alt tab back over to my calculator, and I'm going to type in 24 times 11. That's the height of my paper, 264. Now, since I can't pick the distance, I can't drag the different distance because you look and notice it shows on the little quick tips there that it's going 180 degrees. All right, it's not what I want to do. So I'm going to specify at 264. Boom. At 264, 64 at 90 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and go up. Now I know I'm coming back 200 and what? I hit F2 and see what I was doing, 204. I can say at 204 at 180 degrees, and then I hit C for close. Now zoom extents, and I'm there. Now, earlier we put a 1/2 inch offset on our margin. Okay, so I need to figure out what that is. What's a 1/2 inch distance? Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to say 0.5 times 24. That's our scale factor. That means I have to offset 12 inches. So I'm going to go offset 12.0 inches. Click here. Boom. Now it gives me the same exact thing I had before. Now I need to type in text, and I'm going to place something right here. Now I need to know the height. The height is 0.25 times 24. Okay, so we're going to click back over here. I'm going to type in 0.25 times 24.0. That's 6 inches tall. So I can just type in 6, and then I rotation of 0, and I can type in my name, Clint 4. Boom. Now I can go ahead and do text again, and I keep that same height. We know this is exactly half the height of the other one. Okay, so it was 6, and now it's going to be 3. So I can actually pick another point, or I can actually just kind of hit enter, and it's going to default to there, and I can type in the date, 07/26/2023. Boom. And now I can click on that and just change the height Boom. And we can set that to 3. And since we moved it before, we moved it 0.1065, but I'm going to go ahead and move it 1 or 0.125, which we know is actually, since its height is 3. So we'll go ahead and move it 3 inches up. That's going to be a little bit better than what we had last time. Boom. And so it's a little bit closer and we're good to go. So now I can go back to my blocks library right here, and I'm placing in, this one's the material bubble, right? Yeah. I'm placing this in, so I drag and drop that in. I can pick a spot, boom, and it's prompting for scale factor 24. And I hit enter to accept the same value. And then my rotation is 0. And then it prompts me for a value. I can put in 9089, whatever I want to put in there. So it gives me an opportunity to change that up for us. Okay, so there's our block there. I can save that, save as, and I can call this Clint dash pipe. All right, now we can go ahead and do another drawing. And what I can do is I can kind of cheat on this. All right, another way to do this, if you already have the sheet size, but you have a different scale, we can apply scale by reference. Okay, so I'm going to do a Control-Shift-C, 0, 0, and I'm just going to grab this and these 2 lines here. I know this is actually at 24. This next one is going to 48, so it's basically going to be 2 times as large. 24 to 48, that's 2 times. So we can actually kind of go here. I can place this in here. I can Control-V, 0, 0, boom. I can zoom extents. I can scale all from 0, 0 to 2 times. So now it's all 48. All right. We can verify that by clicking on here. We can see our text is 12 inches tall. Okay. So let's go to our calculator. Boom. And we can know that we are doing 0.25 times 48. That equals 12. So our height is correct. We know we're good to go. And now all we have to do is drop our block in. All right. So I'm going to go to our block library. I'm going to grab the column block. I'm going to drop it in. And since this is actually a drawing, it's going to come in at 1 to 1. I'm not going to add a multiplier because this is actually a real size block. So it's a drawing. You do not scale it because that is the size it's supposed to be. And it does look really tiny on this drawing. But that was kind of the point of this particular effort. You're supposed to understand what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to be the same size as the other blocks. It's supposed to just show up on the drawing and be the size that it is. So that's kind of the kicker there. Then I can save this as, I can call this Clint-Civil or structural, something similar to that, if you can type. All right, now let's go back and look at our assignment, see what we've done. And I know I haven't done everything, but I wanted to look at it. Okay, will be inserted on the E-Light layer. Okay, first off, I did not create any layers in these drawings. I stuck them all on a 0 layer, so I need to go back to my drawings and update them to have the appropriate layers in here. All right, so I have E-Light, I have M-Tag, and S-Steel layer. So I need to go back over here, go to my drawing, Civil. This is going to be S-Steel, so I'm going to go to Layer Command. I'm going to go ahead and create a layer, S_Steel. Boom, and color doesn't really matter, but I'm going to set it to a color so it actually just kind of stands out and I know that it's actually on that color now. All right, so I'll highlight it. I'm going to pick it. I'm going to set its layer to S-Steel and we are good. Now this drawing is correct. I can Control save that. That one's done. I need to go to pipe. All right, this one's supposed to be on the M-Tag layer. All right, so we're going to go back to our drawing, type in layer, and I'm going to create an M-Tag layer. All right, boom, M_tag. And again, I can make this any color I want. I'm going to make this one green. All right. And then I'm going to move my block by simply highlighting my block and setting it to the M-Tag layer. Notice it's changing colors with me. The reason it's changing colors with whatever layer I put it on is because all the entities inside that block are created on the 0 layer. That's critical because if you do that, it takes on the layer properties that it's inserted on. All right. If you actually hard code your layer inside your block, it doesn't matter what layer you put it on. It's always going to show up that color, but it will not take on the properties of the layer of that block that is inserted on. And you want it to be able to do that because otherwise you don't have any control except changing the layer color of the layer that the block is defined on, and you don't want to do that. All right, so I'm done with this one. I can Control save that, and I'm going to click on Clint Elect, and we'll go look at that. What's that supposed to be? That is supposed to be on the E-Light layer. So I can go ahead and create the E-Light layer, and we'll E-Light. Boom. I'm going to pick white, and we're going to go make it a different color. We'll go with red. All right. And now I'm going to close the layers out, and I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to use properties, and I'm going to change that to the E-Light layer. All right, so here we are, Control Save. Now, I want to do a little verification here. I want to look and verify that all these are set away. I know that this one is a 32 scale. So if I click on this, that's have a scale factor of 32. It does. I'm good to go. All right, now I'm going to do verify on pipe. This one I know is supposed to be a 24 drawing. It is. Okay, I click on civil. I know this is a 48 drawing, but I click on here and it's not 48 because it's 1 because that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to have a scale factor on it, but this sheet size is supposed to be I know this dimension from here to here is supposed to be 8.5. Okay, so I'm going to do a distance from E and D point of here to E and D point of here. Now I show 408. All right, so I know it's supposed to be a scale factor of 48. So what I can do is I can take that distance. I'm doing it on a Lisp here. So I'm going to say 408 by 48.0. So if that comes out to be 8.5, or actually, yeah, if it comes out to be 8.5, we're good. I could have used 8.5 as well and then got 48, or I can use 48 and get 8.5. Okay, so we see that's 8.5. So I know that's an 8.5 by 11 sheet. I have checked my drawings and they are all good. And I am done with each one of those assignments. I just package them up and send them via email and you are done. Now, the way you would do that is you just create an email. I'm going to go ahead and pop in email here. I'm going to start a new email, go home, new email. I know you can't see this, but I'm going to bring it over here just a second. Okay, so here we are. We'll say it's from myself. That's fine. And we'll say to Cody. I don't want to show your, I guess I am showing your emails. Sorry, Cody, if you get tons of emails, it's because I have a fan base that's just huge and they like you. Okay, I'll send it to myself. Clint Moore at yahoo.com. Boom. And I call it assignment. And then I will go to the file tab. Blocks. I will take these first, highlight those, drag and drop those in there. And then I'm going to go to my folder where I have the files stuck. And I think I did them in here. Nope, I did not sit them in there. Where did I sit them? Let's go back over here. I can look at my drawing prefix. I can type in drawing prefix to see exactly where I saved those. I saved them. They're Clint. They're directly saved in the more folder. So I'm going to go over there. And so I'm going to go down to C drive, users, see more or more. Boom. And they're in this folder here. I have 1, 2, and 3. I take those, drag and drop into here. Boom. And they're there. And then I send. And that is the extent of doing that particular exercise. Now, I'm able to do it a lot faster because I've done this many, many times. It's not that big of a deal for me, but you guys should be able to do this in a pretty quick fashion. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have to create a whole lot of blocks. But understanding how you create those blocks is critical. You do not want to have oddball insertion points. You want to think out your insertion point, where you're going to place that block, where it's going to be, and you want to make sure that you're compensating for everything you're dealing. You're dealing with an attribute. You want to make sure you have good attribute names. You notice there's no attributes on the W column because this is a drawing. It doesn't have text associated with it or anything similar to that effect. If we had a whole bunch of these, copy, boom, oops, copy. Okay. What's nice about this is you can actually count these. Okay. You can actually just highlight them all right there, and you actually get a count. You have 12 I-beams. Say if you happen to know they're all 10 feet long, so then you have 12 times 10, so you're good. All right, 12, so there you go. The same thing goes here. If you actually have this one here, if you have multiple pieces of items, your material cost or something like that, you might have a 1, a 2, or 3, or 4, and then you can actually, however many bubbles you actually show on the drawing, you can actually get that count and that quantity and add that up, and then you have your material list there as well. With a light type here, if you have 50, I did not draw my little dashes on my block, so therefore I'd get a discount on that because I did not draw my dashes. Okay, so I failed on that part because if boom, go back to your assignment. It should have the dashes on it. I did not put the dashes, so I failed that particular aspect of it. So, but keep in mind, you want to pay attention, look through as much as you possibly can. I did catch this mistake, but I've already sent the email, so I'm actually kind of hosed on that part. I can send it again, and I would, before I grade it, and you'd be in good shape. But the point is, you are going to make mistakes. Just be able to recognize them and look for them as you're going through. All right. Good deal. Now, let's talk about our block library. I know that was a question that you had specifically on how to build a block library, Cody. And let's see, let's go back up to C drive, depending on where you want to place things. Okay. Now, how do you get this to actually show up for you when you're inserting? Now, this is one way to do it. I created a folder called blocks and we just started placing things in this blocks layer. Now, if you wanted to be able to insert things directly, like say you knew the names of these things, okay, E, light, OH, blah, blah, blah. So let's start a new drawing. Okay, if I use the dash insert command, okay, I can just type in a block name here and actually insert it. Okay. Now I know the name of my block is E. This is called MatBub. That's probably cheating. It's not going to use that one, but let's use E dash light OH. I know the name of it. Okay. E dash light OH. If I hit enter, it actually finds it. Okay. You know why it finds it? Because I'm in this folder that I actually created these in, and it's actually already there. So I'm going to kill that. I'm going to erase those real quick, undo, and let me delete those extra blocks that I had in the folder that I'm in, which is here, documents. I'm going to delete them from here. I'm going to delete these because I don't want them to actually, I don't want it to find them. It's finding them by default. All right, so I'm going to do a dash insert. Again, this is the command line version of the insert command. And I'm just trying to make a point so we can actually understand how to actually update your support files so you can actually find blocks without actually having to go hunt for them. Okay, so that was E-light OH, I believe is what it was. If I do that, it says, hey, I can't find this. Now, if you notice this, it tells you E-light OH can't find them in this path here, this path here, this path here. It looks through all these paths, looks through all these folders on this machine, and it can't find it. How do you update that? So if we go to options, we can add our blocked path to this to this area. So it'll actually search our support path. So if you click here, support file search path. So support files would be block files. So I'm going to add it in here. So I'm going to add, and then I'm going to browse, and I'm going to pick C drive, and I'm going to go down to my blocks folder. I'm going to pick that right there like that. And I can go ahead, I know I'm pulling from those, I can actually go ahead and move that up so it finds it faster. So I can move that up here, something like that, and pick apply, then pick OK. Now if I do dash insert, and I'm going to pick the same thing. Now if I do that, guess what? It found my block. So I can pick that, insert that here, and I am good to go. All right, so that's how you update your support path so it actually finds your block. So now I can do a dash insert, MatBub, and I can find that. Boom. And I can also do the same thing for my steel. I can say dash insert, W6 by 20 by 25 column. Boom, and it finds that, and I can place that, and everything is good. So that's actually how we find our block library. You can actually update it. You can have them on multiple spots if you want to. You could actually nail them down, but another quick, easy way without having to update anything is just use the drag and drop functionality that I kind of showed you here. Again, pull up Windows Explorer. My goodness, got a lot of crap there. C drive, blocks, and then you can actually go in here and just drag and drop any of these blocks in there. Just drag and drop, it's already there. Now, if you update the block, all right, so if I come in here, I'm like, oh, I need to update that block. So let's go open that block. I can go open that file. I can directly open the file just by double clicking it here. Now I want to go ahead and get my lines in there that I messed up and I didn't place in there. Now, if you open the drawing, you're like, wait, this is supposed to be in the center. It kind of looks this way weird because the way AutoCAD is handling and the text, because there's actually not a value in it, and it kind of uses the default value to kind of adjust this, and it's not really correct, but it is correct, so you don't have to worry about it being weird like this. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line from QA of here, and I'm going to come out to 0.125. Boom, I'm going to offset to 0.0625. Get my little offset here, boom, and I'm going to trim that line. I'm going to trim this off. Now, what I did here by accident is I created a layer. I don't want this layer, so I'm going to make sure I set my layer to the 0 layer. I'm going to set this back to the 0 layer, and then I'm going to purge that drawing layer out because I don't want it purged. And I'm going to bring in the purge command. You see this little purge dialog box here. I'm going to purge everything. Purge all. Boom. Purge all change items. Close. Okay. Now I should not have that layer. Type in layer, and I don't have that extra layer, so I didn't want to add anything in here. All right, so now I'm going to dash array, And I'm going to select my line. I'm going to say P for polar, center of the circle, boom. And items array, I want 4 and 360 degrees. And yes, rotate. Okay, now I'm going to RO. Peak, 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 peak. 45 degrees from center, from 0, 0, 0, boom, 45 degrees. Now I have my lines out there. I can erase this. That's not the prettiest set of lines. I could probably make those all a little bit bigger. Okay. I could scale them, or I could come down here and make their length. You can't actually dynamically set your length here, so I won't be able to cheat and do that part. But I can redo it and everything else. But just for grins of this particular exercise, I showed you how to draw them. And now I can type in close. I will update this file. And now we look at our file and it's not updated in here. How do I get that update to apply inside this drawing? Now, when you insert a block into a drawing, it takes that drawing reference, all right, block definition, and it stores it inside this drawing file. To get that to overwrite that, you have to redefine this block. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. You can type in insert. I'm going to show you the dialog box method. Okay. You can come over here. You can go to recent open drawing, or you can actually browse. I can click up here and browse for a different file. Where's it at? You can tell I use this a lot. Okay. Boom, click there. It's going to take me to here. I'm going to go back to that folder where I have my blocks, C drive. I'm going to go down to my blocks folder, and I'm going to pick that light OH. And you can see it has the lines in it. I'm going to pick open. And now I'm going to place that in here. I'm going to go ahead and double click on that. And what it does, as soon as I double click on it, it says, hey, it's already defined in this drawing, but you picked a file. Do you want to redefine that block? I say yes, it'll redefine the block and it'll actually update it. All right. I did not change the attributes at all, so I don't have to worry about doing a Batman. Okay. So now all the block references show correctly. I don't have to worry about, I can delete the one I placed. I didn't really need it. I'm going to undo that and show you a different way to do it. Okay. Using the command line -insert. Okay. You can say E-light OH equals. Okay. You put equals on there with that. Oop, I didn't type that right. E-light OH equals. That means equals. It means redefine it from whatever you find on my support path. So it's going to go out there. It's going to find the first reference of it. And it's going to say, hey, do you want to redefine it? Yes. Boom. And at this point, I've already redefined it. I can hit escape and I don't have to place that. And I get that redefinition complete. Again, if there had been anything I'd done with the attribute inside that block, I would have to actually do a Batman command to actually update the attributes properly in that deal. Like say if I change the tag to something different, we can go ahead and do that if that makes sense to you guys. So I'm going to open that block again. I'm going to double click on head here, right here. And I'm going to change this instead of light type. Say I want to change it to something else. I want to change it to light, just type. I'm going to change it to type, and I'm going to put the default to B. Okay. Click OK. I'm going to close. All right. Now, again, to do the ray definition on that, I can just do a -insert. And I can do E-light OH equals. That means go out and read the file and redefine it in this drawing. Boom. You can say yes, redefined. And at this point, I can hit escape. Notice the new one is coming in with the B. I'm going to go ahead and accept that. Notice this is light type, but I pick OK. Now, if I double click on this, you will see it says type and light type. Okay, so that was the definition I changed there to the B. So the default changed, and so I accepted the default. If I double click on this one here, it says light type. It doesn't say type. So that means my attributes are not in sync. So I'm going to use a process called a command called Batman, BATTMAN. All right, this stands for Bat Attribute Manager. All right, or Block Attribute Manager. My bad. I always say it as soon as batch. All right, now it shows me a block that has attributes in it. And it says, hey, type, boom, boom, boom. I say synchronize. Now you're going to notice, see my values are A's. Okay, it's the default is B. Now you might think, okay, it's going to change all my values to B, but that is not the case because it's only changing the default for when somebody inserts it. That's not actually going to affect any of my existing attributes. These will stay A's. Actually, no, they won't. sorry, they are going to change to Bs. So you have a data loss potential here because of the fact that I actually changed the tag. The other tag's been deleted. It's been replaced with this, and it's actually going to replace it with the default value, which is B. So keep that in mind. Changing the tag is going to have consequences whenever you do things. So I'm going to pick OK here, and oh, I didn't actually sync. My bad. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit sync. Boom. And now you notice the A's are gone. So I'd have to actually go back and reset those to A's if I wanted to do that. The way you do that is simply A, oops, A, boom, and double click A again. Now, another cheat you could actually use to change these, say if you wanted these all to be, these two here to be C, you could actually scroll down here on the properties, and it says light type varies. You could actually set it to C here, and then that's going to be done. Now they're all, those two are C's, and this one stays an A. So you have that option to make attribute modifications through the properties dialog as well. It's a really handy feature. All right, well, I think we will wrap class up there. I'm going to stop the recording. So give me just a second, Cody, and then we can actually talk about it a little bit if you want to have some questions. Hold on.